Welcome to the Creatively Performing Arts Podcast. This is the show for anyone ready to get back to the performing arts. You want to sing, you want to act, you want to dance, you want to be creative again? Come on over. I'm Estelle. I'm a singer, actor, performer, beginner voice coach, and I am here to help you get started. You will find beginner singing and performing tips and hear empowering, inspiring interviews with artists that will help you push past your fear and your doubts about performing so you can finally start performing with confidence and singing and dancing and living creatively. You have gifts that you need to grow, use, and share, and the world is waiting for you. I want to be there to help you do that. So let's begin. Hi guys, welcome back to the show. Hope you're doing well. It's been a crazy weekend. I just closed a show I was in, Comedy of Errors, and it was so much fun, but so, busy. In addition to just life and everything. But I'm glad to be back and chatting with you. Today I actually wanted to have like a fun chit chat, like catch up, which like hopefully feels like that every time. Like we're just friends chatting about singing and the arts and performing. But I really want to talk about like what I have experienced when it comes to fear of starting something new, and maybe you are feeling that way when it comes to singing or performing or doing theater again, or maybe you're just like wanting to dance again, that kind of thing, right? Fear of starting something new, especially like for me, I've experienced that when I first started doing Shakespeare. This was my second play with this company, Shakespeare Company. And like that fear of starting something new, even just starting this play, like doing rehearsals, like there was fear there. There's just always fear when you're starting something that you haven't done before, right? Obviously, naturally. But then I think sometimes we use that as a crutch. We use that as an excuse why we shouldn't do it, because we're like, no, like this could happen or that could happen, this could go wrong, that kind of thing. And I just want you to know, first of all, you're not alone, as always. Okay, we are all dealing with this. We've all experienced this. And, for me, when I was doing this play, I guess it wasn't so much fear of like starting something new. It was more like feeling like, feeling like I needed to like do better than I did last time, kind of thing. But it's all rooted in fear. And even now, I'm starting to audition again. I'm going to start auditioning again. I started submitting, and I would really love to do a musical, and that's something like a full musical that I haven't really done. And so like as an adult, and so there's like fear around that. I got an appointment to audition for this show that I would really, really love to be in, and like I almost immediately started coming up with like all these like excuses, like maybe I shouldn't go because of this, or like, they're gonna ask us to dance, I don't know if I'm good enough, like I don't know if I'm ready for that, blah blah blah, right? Like it's really just a fear of starting this new thing and potentially being rejected, or potentially quote unquote failing, or not getting the part or whatever. And it's all fear. But I literally forced myself to respond to the email and commit so that I wouldn't be able to back out of it. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to like put your foot down and say, I'm committed. And you have to pay for that dance class, even though you're like low-key not knowing, like you don't really want to show up for it, but like you already paid, so now you have to go, right? You have to kind of like force yourself to overcome your fear by taking action, by taking like a step of commitment, and whatever that looks like that could literally be signing up to audition for your local play, or a community theater play or something. And just because you signed up, you feel like you have to go, right? That's like, it's like a healthy sense of pressure for yourself to make sure that you actually show up, because you said that you would, you committed to it, you took action on it, and because of that you're gonna go. And I just think that sometimes we let our fears keep us back from doing something that could actually be really fun and really interesting and really cool and bring a lot of growth and a lot of just more creativity into our lives. And meanwhile, yes, we should acknowledge that fear. No, we're not alone, but take some sort of commitment, commit in some way to doing it in a tangible way, and you're going to rise to the occasion. Like you're going to have to deal with the fact that you committed to it, and now you're going to rise to the occasion. Now you're going to go for it. You're going to take that small step of action. You sign up for that open mic night, and now you have to go because you told them you'd be there, right? And so, like, that kind of like committing yourself gives you that sense of responsibility to help you maybe not overcome in that moment your fear of starting something new, because you still might feel afraid, but it helps you not let that become a hindrance to you doing the thing that you want to do, to you growing creatively, doing that thing that inspires you. So I hope that helps. It encourages you. I definitely know that fear, and frankly, I don't know if it will like necessarily go away, right? Because we experience fears as humans, but it doesn't have to rule us. Those emotions don't have to keep us in one place or keep us stuck. We can move past it. We can choose we have agency to make decisions in spite of our fear, and that's how you do it. You commit to making that decision in spite of your fear. And I'm here cheering you on. Like, you can do this. Let's go. And I hope that this inspires you. And a lot of you guys know that one of my favorite things is musical theater. Like, I already mentioned it. I'm excited to audition for more musicals, and I talk about this. I'm starting to share about this on my TikTok, so follow me on TikTok if you want some behind the scenes, and probably Instagram too, TBH. But anyway, speaking of musicals, some of you might feel like musical theater as a genre of singing is new to you, and maybe you've always been like, why musical theater? Why is Estelle so obsessed with it? Blah blah blah. Or maybe you've never wondered that because you don't know me. That's okay. Hi, my name's Estelle. I really do like musical theater. Um, and I like it because I love storytelling. I love characters. Obviously, I'm an actor. I like characterization and storytelling, and just like understanding humans through story, and also relaying things to other people through story. So I love musical theater because it's singing, it's music, it's dancing, and it's also storytelling and acting, right? So it's just everything all together, and I love it. And so I wanted to like do a little like starter pack for anyone who's like interested in starting to get into musical theater, but you don't know where to begin. Here are some things that you can consider like watching or listening to that might pique your interest and make you a little curious about the world of musical theater. So I have just a couple things that I'm going to name, and just take what you will and run with it and see if anything inspires you or makes you curious, and let me know what you think. Okay, so my first show suggestion is Alexander Hamilton, honey. Okay, Hamilton the musical has to be number one, not only because it is one of my favorites, obviously, but more importantly, because it is influenced by so many different genres of music that are popular, like pop music and hip hop and R&B, even a bit of jazz, and because of that, it feels more accessible. So this is necessarily, let me just clarify, this list isn't necessarily for like the easiest songs to sing along to, but there are definitely catchy songs, and there are a lot of songs, so it's a lot of content for you. But this is mainly like a list for like just like getting into musical theater as a genre, right? And so I think this is a great show to start with if you're just like curious about musical theater, because then you can just start listening to the songs and the storyline and everything. Everything is explained through the songs, but you could also like Google and Wikipedia the storyline as well. You can also watch it on Disney Plus if you have a Disney Plus. You can stream it on Disney Plus. I believe it's still on there. So a lot of ways to engage with it. There's also the mix track. Is that what it's called? The mixtape. The mixtape that was made for Hamilton, of like all these different artists, R&B artists, hip hop artists, pop artists singing different songs in their own styles on like on the mixtape, and it's so good. So a lot of great ways to consume this show's music, and it's so good. You again, you get the storyline throughout all the songs if you listen through them. It's also like history, so there's that too. So a lot of it will be familiar to you. You already know the characters. You know Thomas Jefferson. You know George Washington, you know Alexander Hamilton, and then you get to know some characters that you might not know. So it's cool. It's great. It's a great thing to start with if you're just starting to dip your toe into musical theater. Start with Hamilton. Okay, it's fun. The music is great. It's beautiful. It's emotional, and you will find songs that you end up loving, for sure. All right. The second show that I would suggest you could get into by starting to listen to would be Six the Musical. Similarly to Hamilton, it's very modern and it has a lot of modern song influences, like mainly pop. So it's set in the style of a pop, like pop rock concert, and it's about the wives of Henry VIII, King Henry VIII of England, and of, I don't know why I had to specify that, but I mean, yeah, King Henry VIII of England, okay? So, yes, it's again history, Western history, and so similarly to Hamilton, it's historical. It's influenced by modern music, and it's modern. It's a new show, a relatively new show, and yeah, it's the good thing about this one that I think is great for like if you're just starting to get into musical theater is of course it's very poppy, pop rocky, like very lots of like ballads and catchy moments, catchy bits and pieces there, catchy songs that you will love. But also, and also there are bits of the storyline that you might know, right? Like the whole rhyme, the divorce, or yeah, beheaded. Wow, I'm blinking. Divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived, right? The wives of Henry the Eighth. Henry the Eighth? The six wives of Henry the... oh my goodness. The six wives of Henry the Eighth, right? So you might be familiar with the storyline, which is good. And then again, the pop genre, which is, you know, familiar to most everyone. But then also because it's like they are telling their stories as they're singing, so it's easy to follow along with the storyline. And it's not like there's this clear storyline through it all because it's like a concert. So you're just like listening to one song after the other. Each song is one of the queens telling their stories, right? So it's like you get a story in each song, and it's not like they all have to necessarily connect, although they do connect through the first song and the last song. But point is, it's very easy to follow along with, and it's also very short compared to Hamilton. Especially Hamilton is super long. This show is really short. There aren't that many songs. There's like one song for each of the six queens, and then two songs at the beginning and the end with all of them together, and then there's one other song in between. So that's like 9 songs, so at least. Yeah, so it's really short, very easy to listen to in one sitting, and you get 9 songs. I just looked it up. 9 songs. So, and you get, you know, all these cool stories, and it's also, you know, girl power. It's like very, you know, female empowerment is a theme in the show as well. So that's cool. So yeah, that's another great show to start with if you're just trying to get into musical theater. And then the last show that I would give you as a tip is very different from these two in a sense, but similar to Hamilton in that it's not necessarily easy music or simple music if you're trying to sing along. But that one, it would be Into the Woods. Okay, Into the Woods is an older show. It's Sondheim. It's Stephen Sondheim, which is like who is one of the most, if not the most, well-known composers in musical theater history. Maybe not the most. I mean, there's Rodgers and Hammerstein, who were like a composition lyricist duo. But anyway, the point is, very famous show, very famous composer and lyricist, and the show itself, you know, the music is challenging. Sondheim is known for being like relatively challenging, at least to accompany, and also to sing in some parts. But there are also a lot of moments that I feel like you can definitely start humming along to and singing along to if you're listening to Also, it does tell a lot of the story in the music. Pretty much all the story is told in the music, so that's easy to follow along with, although you could definitely look up, a summary of the show as well. But also the songs are like, it's about storybook characters, so like Cinderella and Jack and the Beanstalk, and what else, a Rapunzel, right? So because of that, it's like easy for you to, you already know the characters kind of, so it's again an easier story to understand if you're just dipping your toes into musical theater, because you're like, okay, I know Cinderella, I know Rapunzel, I know their stories. Again, lots of Western influences here, Western history, but yeah, that is musical theater in America, at least. But anyway, that's another story, another discussion for another day. But the point is, what was my point? The point is, it's a great show for you to dip your toes into if you're wanting to get into musical theater, you don't know where to start. This is an older show. It's more traditional musical theater singing, so it's not as poppy as the other two shows that I mentioned, Hamilton and Six the Musical, but you might start to recognize some of the tunes. They repeat a lot of the tunes, kind of repeat themselves, and I forgot, I was gonna like sing bits and pieces of every one of them. I'll get to that at the end, because ironically, like, each of these shows has a song that goes with the title, so, which I thought was fun. But yeah, it's a great show to listen to. This one is a longer one, longer than Six, but yeah, I think they're great songs, and it's a good place to start if you're just getting into musical theater and you want maybe more of a traditional feel as opposed to like a pop and more modern feel like the other shows are. This is definitely more traditional, definitely feels older and more like classic musical theater. All right, so to wrap it up, if you're trying to get into musical theater, you don't know where to start, like listening to shows. Oh, also, you can watch Into the Woods on Disney Plus, like the newer version that they made with Meryl Streep and what's her name? Oh, I'm blanking. What's her name from Pitch Perfect and The Last 5 Years? And Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick is in it. Who else is in it? So many amazing people. Emily Blunt is in it. So it's a star-studded cast. James Corden. Why did I say Cordon? James Corden is in it, of course. And so many people, so many great actors and artists are in it. So you definitely can go and watch it and have more context if you watch the movie. All right, well, those are my 3 like shows if you're trying to get into, dip your toes into musical theater. Those are my tips for you to start listening to. I'll give a little run through. So the first one is Hamilton the Musical. Alexander Hamilton. Yes, Hamilton the Musical, okay? Get into it. Oh my goodness, one of my favorites. The second one that I'll suggest is Six the Musical. We're 6. Whoa, we're 6. Yes, okay, go get into that one as well. It's so good. And then lastly, I would suggest Into the Woods. Into the Woods, okay? Yeah, I hope that these are good suggestions. Let me know if you listen and you like them, and I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you think of this show, what you think of this episode, what you'd like to hear more of. I would love to hear from you, as always. Oh, and also I will put everything in the show notes, everything that I talked about, like all the different references. I'll put their cast recordings in the show notes for you to check them out. All right, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to not let fear stop you from trying something new, including musical theater as a genre, even if it's just listening to it. Like, that's starting something new. So don't let anything hold you back. Go for it, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the performing arts community on Facebook to find support and inspiration. If this episode helped you or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It means so much, and share it with someone who needs it, or on your Instagram stories and tag at Creatively Performing Arts. Don't forget to subscribe to this show wherever you listen. We have amazing interviews and episodes coming up. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.